Hey everyone, in this video I'm sharing with you my composition tips for taking better photos on your phone. Let's get into it. So the first and most important tip that I have when taking mobile phone photos is that there is usually no depth of field in the photos that you're taking. So in order to make your subject stand out from the background, you're going to want to place them against something plain or plain colored to help them pop in your photo. So here in this location, I really like that concrete wall. So I'm going to get some photos of Phoebe standing up against it. So I think if you stand maybe on the little ledge would be cool. Yeah, and I'll get some full body shots of you. And you can see a little bit of the bricks at the top of the frame too, which adds something interesting to the photo. And then I also want to get a shot if you could sit on that ledge as well. And I'll get a little sideways shot here. I thought it would be fun to use two different phones for today's photo shoot. I like the shots where you're leaning over your legs, yeah. First up, I'm currently using the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So those shots look really nice. I like how clean they are and how much Phoebe stands out in the photo. I do also want to take a photo with some of these leaves in the background as well. So usually what I like to do if I have a more textured or busy background in my phone photos is I still like to place my subject against the plainer part of the background and just have the texture kind of coming into the side of the image. So let's try and get a shot of you standing in this area here. And I'll crop just above your knees for this one. So you can see here I'm framing, so you can still see the leaves in the photo, but Phoebe's face is still against the blank backdrop, so she stands out in the image. If I were to take a photo with her against the leaves completely, it's a little bit messy and she's kind of getting lost in the frame. So I'm going to shoot from this angle and get her to stand out a little bit more. I think this has pockets too if you wanted to, I think, maybe?
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
Take a little pocket.
The next tip that I have is especially handy when you're shooting in the city or somewhere where there's a lot of lines in your location. So for example, I want to take a photo of Phoebe here against this corrugated iron fence. And something that I like to keep in mind while shooting with straight lines is that you always want to keep your lines straight as much as possible. So I feel like when I'm standing here at a bit of an angle to the fence, it looks okay, but I feel like it doesn't have that oomph compared to when you stand directly towards the fence and you have that horizontal line be straight in your image. It just looks like a much more refined and nice looking image. It's a bit more pleasing to the eyes, I feel like. So I'm gonna take a couple of shots of her here. The other phone I'm using today, which I'm currently taking photos with, is the Google Pixel 5. You don't have to shoot straight on shots all the time, but I feel like if your lines are going to be crooked, you want to make sure that that's on purpose. So for this shot here, I'm going to shoot diagonal to the building to get a bit more depth in our photo and to add some interest rather than it being just a flat, straight on image. Oh, that looks so pretty. So keeping in mind our tip from before, I'm going to keep Phoebe's face against the white backdrop in the background there so she stands out. And then to the left, we have that textured door, and to the right, we have the green vines. So that's how I would kind of place the subject against a plain background when there's a lot going on. And as you can see, I'm shooting from an angle here, but I am keeping my vertical line straight still. Maybe I'll do this so I don't have to be like hunchback. The next tip that I have is to keep in mind what lens you're choosing to shoot with, which might sound weird because it's a phone, but even on the iPhone, you have the choice between wide angle, normal camera, and portrait lens. The same with the Google Pixel, you have portrait lens standard and wide angle as well. So I want to show you guys what the differences look like. So I'm going to get a shot just here. I want to be able to see a little bit of like the background there. So I think, do you want to cross your arms for this one? So I'm going to get the same portrait shot of Phoebe. So this first one is on the standard lens. And then I'm going to switch it to the portrait lens and move back. So I'm going to get the same framing and then I'll put them up side by side so you guys can see the differences. And then the same thing goes for when you're taking full body portraits as well, and you're incorporating more of the background and your location in a photo. So I'm gonna take a full body shot with the standard camera. And like that looks pretty nice. I feel like you can get some good standard looking shots with the standard camera. And then if I switch to the portrait camera, I have to take a lot of steps back to get Phoebe's full body in the frame. But as you can see, that's got more of a compressed look where the background comes closer to your subject, it appears closer. So I feel like this is a really cool lens to shoot full body portraits with. And then on the other hand, we have the wide angle camera, which I feel like is the funnest lens to take full body shots with because you can get some really funky looking results. So for this one, I have to actually get really close up to my subject. And I'll shoot it from this side so it's all the same. And with this, it's really cool to play around with your angles to try and get as much as you can in the shot. But yeah, I feel like the wide angle really exaggerates features, like it's making Phoebe's legs look super long in the shot, which is nice. So depending what lens you choose, it gives you the added creativity to choose what your subject and location will look like in a photo to create different styles in your photography. The last tip that I have for you guys is a simple one, but I feel like it is so important to be able to get nice looking photos, and that is to keep in mind the rule of thirds when you're shooting pictures. So something that I really like about the Pixel 5 is that if you press the menu up there when you're in the camera and then click on settings, you can actually turn on the grid type. So I'm gonna pick a 3x3 grid and go back. And you can see you've got the grid here now overlaid onto your camera. So this doesn't come up in your actual photos, but I do like that you can see it on the camera while you're taking photos. And this was just gonna help you frame your pictures nicely. So something that I really love to do when I'm shooting portraits, I feel like this is a go-to composition for me, is to get the top third line going through my subject's eyes. I feel like this is so flattering. So as you can see here in this shot, I'm cropping Phoebe just above the knees. Her eyes are going through the top third, and you have some nice negative space where you can see more of the background in your photo. So I feel like that's really helpful, especially if you're not used to shooting with the rule of thirds or that's something that you want to practice more. I love having the grid up on my camera when I'm shooting. And then for a close-up, I'll still keep her eyes on the upper thirds. Let me count you in. 1, 2, 3.
And I love like the highlights.
Yeah, the leaves are so good. Maybe, do you want to do the hands on your, on your hips? Using the rule of thirds can be a really helpful way to find flattering compositions for your phone photos. Here are 2 more that I normally like to use for portraits by placing the face in the top middle grid, and one where the face goes through a cross section. So that is all I have for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching that and learned something new. I'd love to know in the comments which one was your favorite tip. And also if you'd like to see more videos like this as well, because this was really fun to shoot and film. So I'd love to make more for you guys if you want to learn more. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I make new videos every single week, so I'll see you all next time. Bye.